Making well, I think a lot of folks already understand that there's a political component to all of these projects. I think that there are a number of companies that avoid it because it's difficult. They what happens is they start to just try to hire what are called local outreach people, and the local outreach people, they have relationships and they're out there, and they're good, and they have these relationships, but a lot of them don't see the whole project holistically. So then what happens is you have somebody who's more project management focused who gets involved. And then, once you're more project management focused, take a little bit more of an aggressive posture without even knowing it, because it's their role to do that. But property owners don't work that way, and local people don't work that way either. One of the things that I'd like to do to help the industry is to kind of smooth out that relationship and be a person who could actually go into these local communities and help do this on their behalf. I also understand what the engineering project manager is looking for. I understand that they are concerned about buildability, and they're concerned about environmental phase ones, and they're concerned about wetland impacts and the involvement of Army Corps of Engineers and the Fish and Wildlife. And there's a whole permitting component to this. So I understand all of that. And I've gone through quite a bit of those projects that had those types of difficulties. But I think reaching out to a lot of these companies and saying that there is a way to bridge the project management side along with the outreach side, so that really everybody is an outreach person. It's not just the outreach person who you hire, it's everybody. We're all representing the industry when we go to local communities.
This might be like dovetail well into that. So, if you had a magic wand and could solve one persistent problem that you see in the energy project development lifecycle, what would it be, and what impact do you think that solution would have on the industry?
I'd say, well, it's really the political piece. Um, our country right now is so divided, and this is, obviously I'm talking about the United States right now. The United States is so divided that a lot of these projects fall on one side of the aisle or the other. So a combined cycle power plant, that's going to be viewed more as conservative. A renewable plant, a solar plant, a wind plant, that's going to be viewed more, left side of the aisle. Um, so I see that as being a major problem. I remember being in a local meeting, it was a very conservative community, and I was talking about a solar project. And I remember saying that, I've developed natural gas combined cycle projects before. And I remember a property owner interrupted me and said, "Wait a minute, say that again? Natural gas?" I said, "Yeah, natural gas. I developed a natural gas plant." He was like, "Say that again." And I said it again. And I understood why he was challenging me on it. He was like, "You're a renewable person and you're sitting here saying that you would develop natural gas plants." And I'm like, "Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? It's base load. I understand, how these things have to work together." So if I had a magic wand, it would be to demonstrate to people that we need some of these types of technologies in order to move the entire industry forward, not just renewable energy. And right now we have these two camps that are using these technologies to battle each other. And because they're battling each other, we end up with disjointed policy for transmission lines. We end up with disjointed permitting policies and things of that nature. So that's why I'm doing my best to say that we just need to view this as an industry, and we need to work together as an industry. Let's see if we can set our politics aside, at least for a time.